How did one phone call on speaker in a bright bank lobby turn me into the financial abuser in front of strangers? What was I supposed to do when my card declined, and my husband calmly told the teller to wait because his lawyer was on the line? Why did the papers get handed to me right there, like I was a criminal, when I was only trying to feel loved again? My name is Mirah Calloway, and I used to believe I was a good wife. I worked hard. I kept the house moving. I managed the bills most months. I told myself that meant I earned space for my own needs too. Ethan, my husband, liked order. He liked lists and reminders. He liked checking the same numbers again and again. He said it was planning, but I felt it like pressure. When he looked at our savings app, his face always got tight. I told myself he cared more about digits than people. That morning in the kitchen, he held his phone over the counter like it was evidence. He asked why the bank sent an alert from our savings. I said it was probably an auto-pay setting, and I asked why he was watching me. He said he was not watching me, he was watching our future. I said our future was not a cage. He tried to keep his voice calm. He asked if I moved money. I said I did not, and I looked at the cereal box like it was the most important thing in the world. The kids were behind me at the table, tapping spoons and waiting for school. I did not want to fight in front of them. I also did not want to admit anything. I told Ethan he was acting intense again. He asked what intense meant. I said it meant he made every small thing feel like a trial. He said money was not small. I said love was not small either, and he was the one shrinking it. Ethan did not yell. That was the problem. If he yelled, I could point to it and say he was the bad guy. Instead, he just stood there, tired, holding the phone. He asked for the bank login so he could reconcile the accounts later. I said I would handle it after work. He asked when. I said soon. On the fridge, there was a paper calendar with neat writing. I saw a reminder that said something like Downtown 1010. Ethan's handwriting always looked careful, like he was building a small fence around his life. I pretended I did not see it. I poured juice for Noah and kissed Avery's hair. I told myself I was the one holding everyone together. In the bedroom, I changed clothes fast. My phone buzzed again. I turned my body so Ethan could not see the screen. I told myself privacy was normal. I told myself every adult deserved secrets. The message was from Logan Pierce. He asked if I was still coming by the clinic area later. He said the apartment manager needed the deposit by end of day. He said it was a now or never kind of thing. I liked how he said it like we were in a story, not in a mess. I texted back that I could handle it. I added a calm emoji, like I was steady and sure. I deleted the thread right after because I told myself it was safer. I told myself it was respectful to keep things separate. I said it was not lying. I said it was just avoiding chaos. At work, the dental clinic smelled like mint and gloves. The front desk computer kept chiming. I was good at my job. I knew the schedules. I knew the insurance codes. I knew what patients needed before they said it. That was my real life, the one that looked solid. In the break room, I opened the banking app with my thumb. The number in savings sat there like a quiet promise. I stared at it and felt a rush, like I was standing on a ledge. I told myself this money was ours, not his. I told myself I earned it too, even if his paycheck was bigger. I told myself I was not stealing. I was choosing. My hands did not shake until I hit transfer. It was not the whole savings. It was just a piece. That is how I said it in my head. A piece meant it would not hurt. A piece meant it could be replaced. I sent the transfer to the account Logan gave me. The memo line asked for a note, and I left it blank. The app showed a little success message. I exhaled like I just solved something. Later, in the open area, Nina Patel, the clinic owner, walked past and looked at me longer than usual. She asked if I was okay because I seemed distracted. I said I was fine. I said home was a little stressful. She asked if I needed time off. I said no, I could handle it. I told myself I could handle everything. That evening, I went to a rooftop bar with Sloane Mercer and Tessa Mercer. They liked to dress sharp and talk loud. They liked attention, and when I was with them, I felt like I had it too. The city lights made everything look clean. Even bad choices looked like style up there. Sloane asked how Ethan was acting lately. I said he was being weird about money again. I said he watched the savings like it was a newborn baby. Tessa asked if he was trying to control me. I said he always tried in his quiet way. I let my voice sound tired and brave, like I carried a heavy marriage alone. They reacted fast, the way friends do when they want a simple story. They said Ethan sounded insecure. They said men hated when women had power. I nodded because it felt good. It felt like proof. Sloane asked if I ever wished I had dated someone different. I said sometimes, and I laughed. I said respect followed results, and I had results. I said Ethan did not understand modern marriage. I said he acted like a hall monitor, not a husband. Tessa held her phone up and asked if she could post a silly story. She said it would be harmless. She showed a picture from earlier that day, when Ethan was at home helping the kids with homework. He looked serious, bent over the table. He did not look romantic. He looked responsible. Tessa asked what caption to use. I said something like, he was living his best boring life. Sloane added a laughing sticker. I let them post it. I told myself it was a joke. I told myself Ethan needed to relax. My phone lit up again. Ethan asked when I would be home. I said late, because I had work things and needed air. He asked if I was with Sloane. I said yes, like that made it safe. He asked if we could talk when I got home. I said he was making it heavy again. I said he always turned everything into a lecture. When I left the bar, the night air felt cold on my arms. I walked to my car and sat behind the wheel. I checked my banking app again. The transfer showed as pending. My stomach flipped, but not from guilt. It was from fear of being caught. I started the engine and drove through quiet streets. I told myself Ethan would not notice. I told myself he would be too busy with the kids. I told myself if he did notice, I could explain it as a mistake, or a temporary move, or an emergency. I had options. I always had options. At a red light, another message came from Logan. He said he was proud of me. He said I was brave. He said the apartment was going to be ours, like a fresh start. I looked at the road ahead and felt something like relief. Then I pictured Ethan in our kitchen that morning, holding his phone and asking simple questions. I told myself his questions were the real betrayal. I told myself he forced me into secrecy. I told myself I did not do this to him. I did this because I needed to breathe. When I pulled into the driveway, our house was dark except for the hallway light. The windows looked like closed eyes. I sat in the car for a moment and watched the front door. I said to myself that I was still a good person. I just wanted more. The next day, I acted normal on purpose. I made coffee. I packed the kids' snacks. I kissed Ethan's cheek like the night before was nothing. He asked if I slept in the car again because he saw me sit outside. I said I was just finishing a call with Sloane. He said I looked tired. I said he always noticed the wrong things. By lunch, Logan was sending voice notes in short bursts. He said the apartment was almost ready, but it looked empty. He said he needed basics fast, so it would feel like a real home. He asked if I could help just this once, and I told myself that meant he did not ask much. He asked if I was sure about the money. I said I was sure because I knew what love should feel like. After work, I drove to a furniture store on the edge of town. I told Ethan I had to run a quick errand for the clinic. He asked what kind of errand. I said supplies. He asked why I did not order them online like usual. I said the supplier messed up, and I had to fix it in person. He paused, like he wanted to ask more, but he did not. In the store, bright lights made everything look clean and simple. A salesperson, asked what I was looking for. I said I needed a sofa, something modern, something that looked fresh. He asked if it was for a new place. I said it was for staging ideas, for our living room, because I might redecorate. That lie came out smooth. It scared me a little how easy it was. I picked a sofa that cost more than I wanted to admit. I added a small table and a lamp because I did not want the place to feel like a temporary mistake. At the register, I used our joint card. The screen asked for a zip code, and my fingers moved without thinking. For a second, I wondered if the bank alert would show up again. Then I told myself Ethan needed to stop staring at alerts and start looking at me. The salesperson asked for the delivery name. I used my maiden name, Wynne, like I was protecting myself. He asked for the address. I gave Logan's new apartment building. He asked if someone would be there to sign. I said yes, and I felt proud, like I was running a project. I told myself I was capable. I told myself Ethan never saw my capability, so I had to show it somewhere else. At the delivery dock, a worker wheeled items toward a truck. He asked me to confirm the order on a tablet. I signed quickly and looked away from the total. I noticed a small camera on the wall, pointed at the loading area. I told myself it was normal security. Still, I adjusted my hair like someone might be watching. Logan met me later at the apartment stairwell. The building smelled like fresh paint and old carpet. He carried a box like it was a prize. He asked if I was excited. I said I was, and I made my smile big. He said it was nice to feel supported. He said his last relationship never helped him build anything. I told myself that meant I was special. We climbed the stairs and I heard my shoes echo. Logan unlocked the door and held it open. He asked if I could imagine our fresh start here. I said yes, and I looked at the empty room like it was a stage. I did not mention my kids. I did not mention Ethan. I kept my thoughts small on purpose. Logan walked around and pointed to corners like he was already planning. He said the sofa would go by the window. He said the lamp would make it feel warm at night. He asked if I could bring more things from my house, later, slowly. I said maybe, and I felt a flash of anger at him for asking. I told myself I was not moving. I told myself I was only helping. I told myself I was still a wife, just not the kind Ethan understood. When I got home, the kids were in the living room with a cartoon on low volume. Ethan was at the table with his laptop open. He asked how my clinic supplies errand went. I said fine. He said our shared phone plan showed a delivery text come in. He asked why a delivery company texted our number. I said it was spam. I laughed like it was silly. I asked if he believed every random text. Ethan did not laugh back. He said he wanted to see the message. I said I deleted it because it looked fake. He asked why I deleted it so fast. I said I did not want scams on our phones. He asked if I was hiding something. I said he was always trying to catch me doing something wrong. I asked why he could not trust me. He looked down at the table. I saw a neat folder beside his laptop with a plain label, something like household. The folder was thicker than it used to be. He slid it slightly under a book when he saw me notice. He said he was just organizing paperwork. I said it was strange that he needed a whole folder for organizing. He said it was stranger that I got angry about it. 2 days later, we went to a family restaurant for Ethan's dad's birthday. The table was long, crowded and loud. People passed plates and told old stories. I smiled the right amount. Ethan stayed polite, but he was quiet. His mother, Janine, watched me more than she used to. Janine asked how our savings plan was going, the one for the kids' summer trip. I said we were fine. I said Ethan worried too much. I said he acted like a banker, not a husband. A few people chuckled, and I felt power return. Ethan's dad asked Ethan if work was busy. Ethan said yes, and he kept his tone flat. Janine asked if everything was okay between us. I said Ethan had been weird and tense, and I said it made me feel alone. I did not say the word affair. I let the air fill with the idea that Ethan caused my loneliness. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he did not argue. He asked for more water, like he was buying time. After dinner, in the parking lot, Ethan said he did not like being talked about like that. He asked why I needed to mock him. I said I was just joking. I said his family was too sensitive. He said it did not feel like a joke to him. I said he always made himself the victim. I told him he should try being easier to live with. He asked again about the money. He asked if I moved more from savings. I said he was obsessed. I said he was tracking me like I was a criminal. He said he was tracking our life. I said our life was not a spreadsheet. He said it became one when numbers started disappearing. On the drive home, he stayed quiet. At a red light, his phone lit up with a missed call from a number with no name. He turned the screen down fast. I asked who it was. He said it was nothing. I said he was hiding things too. He said it was not the same. I said secrets were secrets. That night, while he brushed his teeth, I checked my banking app again. The deposit and payment sat there like footprints. I told myself they were temporary. I told myself I could replace the money before anyone really noticed. I told myself Ethan would calm down once he saw I was still here. But when Ethan came into the bedroom, he did not touch me. He did not ask to talk. He only asked what time I would be up in the morning, because he needed to plan school drop-off. I said I would be up. He nodded like he did not fully believe me. I lay in the dark and listened to him open a drawer. I heard a soft click, like a lock. I told myself it was normal. Still, my chest felt tight. I stared at the ceiling and repeated my favorite lie to myself. I was not doing anything wrong. I was only taking what I deserved. The fundraiser was on a Thursday night at the community hall near the river. It smelled like coffee and cheap perfume. People wore name tags and talked too loud because they wanted to look important. I wore a bright dress and a calm face. I told myself I was doing something good for the neighborhood. I also knew it was a good place to shape the story. Ethan came because he always came. He brought the kids and helped set out chairs. He carried a box of paper cups like it was a mission. He did not complain. That made him easy to use. If he complained, people would see the edge. Instead, they saw a quiet man, and I could paint him any way I wanted. Sloane and Tessa were there too. They moved through the room like they owned it. They waved me over and asked how things were at home. I said Ethan had been watching my spending and asking too many questions. I said it made me feel small. I did not say I moved money. I did not say why. Sloane asked if he ever checked my phone. I said he tried, like he was a jealous teen. Tessa's eyes got wide. She asked if I felt safe. I said I felt controlled. I used that word on purpose because it always worked. A woman from the parent council stood near us and listened. I saw her eyebrows lift. I leaned into it. I said Ethan tracked every dollar like I was a child. I said he was cold and tight and never romantic. I said I did everything at home and still got judged. People nodded, and I felt relief. It was like a warm blanket. I told myself their nods meant I was right. Across the room, Ethan was talking to another dad about school schedules. He looked normal. That made me angry. If he looked normal, my story needed help. So I went over with a smile and made it worse for him. I asked Ethan, in front of them, if he remembered to bring the kids' water bottles, because he forgets details. He said he brought them. I asked if he also remembered not to panic over the bank app today. He asked what I meant. I said it was a joke, and I laughed. The other dad laughed too, but it sounded unsure. Ethan's face changed a little. He asked quietly why I needed to say that here. I said I was just being honest. I said he was too sensitive. I turned away before he could reply. I liked leaving him mid-sentence. It made him look awkward. Later, when a volunteer asked Ethan to help with a raffle table, I stayed back and told the women near me that he loved to control the money. I said he did not trust me. I said he acted like I had to earn my own freedom. I made it sound like he was a bad husband, not like I was doing bad things. That was the trick. I was good at the trick. Tessa pulled out her phone and said she wanted to post a quote about financial abuse. She asked if that was too much. I said it was true for many women. I said it was important to speak up. I did not say it was about Ethan. That way, it was about Ethan. When the post went up, she showed me the likes coming in fast. She asked if it felt good. I said yes. I told myself it was brave. At the clinic the next day, the air felt heavier. I walked in and saw two co-workers looking at their phones, then looking at me. They smiled like nothing, but it was the kind of smile people use when they know something. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I was winning the story. In the open area, Ethan came in with Avery's forgotten lunch. He stood by the front desk and waited politely. A patient sat nearby and watched him. Sloane happened to be in the waiting area for a whitening consult. She made a face and asked, loud enough, why Ethan was always checking on me. She asked if he had trust issues. I smiled and shrugged like I was embarrassed by him. Ethan asked if we could talk later. I said we could talk about the kids, not the money drama. He asked why I called it drama. I said because it was exhausting. I said he was making the house tense. He asked if I would stop telling people he was controlling. I said I did not tell people, I just spoke my truth. Nina Patel, my boss, called me into her office after Ethan left. She asked if something was going on at home that could affect work. I said no. I said Ethan was just emotional lately. Nina asked if he ever came here upset. I said he would never do that, but he liked to show up to keep me on a short leash. Nina's mouth tightened. She said boundaries mattered. I nodded like I agreed, even though I meant boundaries for him, not for me. At lunch, I checked the bank app again. More of the money had moved out. I had done it in small pieces so it looked normal. I told myself I was smart. I told myself Ethan had no right to question it, because he questioned everything anyway. That evening, I went to the supermarket with the kids. Ethan said he could come, but I told him I needed space. He asked why. I said he suffocated me. He looked like he wanted to argue. Then he did not. He just nodded and stayed home. At checkout, Avery asked if we could buy a dessert. I said yes, because I did not want to look strict. I wanted to feel generous. The cashier scanned items fast. The screen showed the total, and I felt a small sting, but I pushed it down. I paid with the joint card. It worked. I watched the receipt print and felt a strange fear anyway. I folded the receipt and shoved it into my bag without looking. When we got home, Ethan was at the table again with his laptop. The kids ran to him and showed him a drawing. He smiled at them. Then he looked at me like a person who was learning a new language. He asked, calm, if we could review expenses together. I said I already managed expenses. He asked why the grocery total doubled this month. I said prices were higher. He asked why it doubled in the same weeks I worked late. I said he was connecting random dots. He said he was looking for patterns. I noticed a new folder near his laptop. It was labeled bank. It was not hidden. It was just there, like a quiet wall. I asked why he needed that. He said he was keeping records. I said that was extreme. He said it was responsible. My phone buzzed on the counter. I grabbed it too quickly. Ethan's eyes followed my hand. He asked who it was. I said it was Sloane. He asked why my screen showed a name he did not recognize earlier, a few days ago, when a message flashed. I said he imagined it. I said he stared at my phone too much. He did not fight me. He just opened his laptop and clicked through something I could not see. A soft beep came from his phone, like a reminder. He turned it face down. I felt heat rise in my neck. I told myself he was plotting. I told myself he wanted to punish me for needing joy. I told myself he was the villain, even while he sat there, calm and quiet, asking clean questions I did not want to answer. Janine started showing up like she lived with us. It began in the school pickup line on a Monday, when I expected to see only the usual parents and tired teachers. I pulled up behind the yellow curb and saw Ethan's car in front of me. I also saw Janine in the passenger seat, sitting straight like a judge. When Ethan stepped out to help Noah with his backpack, Janine looked back through the window and gave me a small nod. It was not warm. It was a polite nod you give a stranger. I felt my face tighten. When Ethan got into my car window range, he asked if I could take Avery to her after-school program. I said yes, but I asked why his mother was here. He said he needed help with the kids because the house felt tense. I said the house felt tense because he kept acting suspicious. He said he was not acting, he was responding. Avery climbed into the back seat and asked why Grandma Janine was helping so much now. I said Grandma liked to be involved. Avery asked if Dad was mad at me. I said Dad was stressed about money and needed to calm down. Avery nodded slowly, like she was storing the words. In the minivan later, Noah asked why Dad slept in the guest room sometimes. I said Dad liked quiet when he worked. Noah asked if I did something wrong. I said no, and I told him adults had complicated feelings. I hated how that sounded, but it was the best I could do without admitting anything. At home that evening, Ethan had a small whiteboard on the kitchen counter. It listed school drop-off, dinner, and bedtime, like we were roommates. He asked if I could stick to the times because the kids needed routine. I said I was not a child who needed a schedule. He said he was not trying to control me. He was trying to reduce chaos. I said he created chaos by treating me like a problem. He did not take the bait. He asked if I could confirm where I was on Thursday night, because Avery told him I came home late. I said I worked late, and then met Sloane for a drink. He asked where. I said the city centre. He asked which place. I said it did not matter. He said details mattered when the story changed. I moved around him and started cooking, like the stove could protect me. I told myself he was acting like a detective. I told myself he wanted to trap me. I told myself he was the one breaking trust by asking questions. The next morning, I walked outside and saw a small camera in the corner of the driveway. It faced the street. It was not hidden. It was clean and new. Ethan was by the car with a tool bag. He said it was a dash cam setup for insurance and safety. I said it looked like spying. He said it was normal and lawful. I said he was making the house feel like a prison. He said I should not feel trapped, if I was being honest. That line hit me hard because it sounded calm. It did not sound cruel. It sounded like a simple fact. I hated facts. At work, Logan sent me a message during a slow hour. He asked when I would come by the apartment again. He said the place still felt empty and he needed a woman's touch. I wanted to roll my eyes, but I also liked being needed. I told him I would come soon. He asked if I could bring more small things. I said I would see. That night, when I went into the master bedroom closet to find a sweater, I noticed the bank statements were missing from the shoebox where I kept them. The box was still there, but it felt lighter. I searched again, slower. I checked under folded towels. I checked behind the spare blankets. The papers were gone. Ethan walked past the door and saw me digging. He asked what I was looking for. I said the statements. I asked why they were missing. He said he took them to make copies for our records. I said he had no right. He said we both had a right to records. I said he was hiding money. He said he was not hiding money, he was documenting it. I told myself he was twisting it. I told myself he was building a case against me in his head. I told myself I was the real victim, because I was being watched. I said he was trying to scare me. He said he was trying to be prepared. That weekend, my mom, Maribel, came over with a bag of pastries and a smile that said she already picked a side. She asked if I was okay. I said Ethan was acting cold and strange. I said he put cameras outside. She asked if he was dangerous. I said he was not dangerous, but he was controlling. My mum frowned and said control was a kind of harm too. I nodded like she was wise. Caleb, my brother, stopped by later to pick up something he left in our garage months ago. He saw Ethan's camera and asked what it was. Ethan said it was for the driveway and the car. Caleb looked at me and asked what was going on. I said Ethan was spiraling because he did not trust me. Caleb asked if I gave him a reason. I said Caleb always took a man's side. Caleb said he took the kid's side and the truth's side. I told him the truth was complicated. He said it was not that complicated. In the kitchen after Caleb left, Ethan washed dishes slowly. He asked if I told my mum he was abusive. I said I did not say abusive. I said controlling. He asked why I kept using that word. I said because it fit. He said it fit because I wanted it to fit. He asked if I would agree to a shared calendar app for the kids. I said it was unnecessary. He said it was necessary because I kept changing plans. I said plans changed because I had a life. He said I had a family too. Later, I heard a soft printer sound from the guest room. It was not loud, just a steady hum and a short click. The air smelled faintly like toner. I stood in the hallway for a second and listened. I told myself it was work stuff. Ethan did not even have a printer before. That was the point. He did now. I walked into the guest room doorway and asked what he was doing. He said he was printing forms for school and organizing household files. I said he was lying. He said I could look if I wanted. I froze, because I did not want to see what he had. I did not want proof of anything on either side. My phone buzzed in my hand. I turned the screen away without thinking. Ethan saw it. He asked whose name was on it. I said it was a group chat. He asked why I always angled my screen now. I said he was imagining things again. He said he would verify things another way. He said it in the same calm voice he used when he talked to the kids about brushing teeth. That was what scared me. I could not pull him into a messy fight. I could not make him look bad. He was stepping out of the drama, and it left me standing alone in it. That night, Avery came into my room and asked if we were still a family. I said yes, of course. She asked why Dad looked like he did not want to talk to me. I said Dad was tired and worried, and he needed time. Avery asked if I was worried too. I said no, even though my stomach felt like a stone. The week after Avery asked if we were still a family, I tried to fix things in the way I always fix things. I tried to make Ethan feel guilty so he would stop asking questions. I tried to make him scared of looking like the bad husband. It usually worked. This time, it did not. On Tuesday, I invited Ethan to a small family dinner at a casual restaurant near the mall. I told him it would be good for the kids to see us normal. He asked why it had to be in public. I said because our home felt tense, and a neutral place would help. He said a neutral place would not change facts. I said he loved facts too much. At the restaurant, the kids colored on paper menus. Ethan's parents arrived first. Janine hugged the children and barely touched my shoulder. Darren asked about the kids' school and kept his voice polite. My mum came late, smiling too wide, like she expected a scene. Caleb did not come. He texted me earlier and said he would not sit through another performance. I told myself he was being dramatic. I brought up money on purpose, like a test. I asked Ethan, in front of everyone, if he was still tracking our savings like a guard dog. He looked at me for a long second. He asked why I wanted to talk about that at a table with children. I said because I was tired of being treated like a suspect. Janine asked what I meant. I said Ethan questioned every purchase and acted like I had to ask permission. Ethan said he had only asked for clarity, not permission. He said the savings dropped fast and he needed to understand why. I laughed and said prices were high, life was expensive, and he was out of touch. Ethan's dad told everyone to focus on dinner. My mum said a woman should not have to justify her needs. Janine said needs were not the same as draining a plan made for children. I felt my cheeks burn. I hated that Janine kept saying children, because it made my choices look worse, so I shifted the story. I said Ethan had been cold for a long time. I said he stopped seeing me. I said he cared more about numbers than the person standing in front of him. Ethan asked quietly if I was trying to excuse something. I said no, I was explaining why I felt alone. My mum nodded too hard, like she was applauding. Ethan's parents went quiet. The kids kept colouring, but Avery's eyes lifted every few seconds like she was checking the temperature in the room. After dinner, when we walked to the parking lot, Ethan did not reach for my hand. He asked if I could stop turning private issues into public jokes. I said I was not joking. I said I was speaking up. He said I could speak up without humiliating him. I said he humiliated me by acting like my choices were crimes. He asked what choices. I said he knew what I meant. He said he did not, and he wanted me to say it. I did not say it. At home, Ethan started doing things that felt small but sharp. He moved the kids' school papers into a labeled folder on the counter. He started keeping his keys in a different bowl by the door. He stopped asking me where I was going. He only asked what time I would be back for the kids. If I tried to pull the talk toward emotions, he pulled it back to logistics. That made me feel ignored, and I hated it. I wanted him upset. I wanted him loud. I wanted him to beg me to stay, because then I could claim I mattered. One night I tried a softer approach. I told him I was sorry, for the tension. I told him I missed how we used to laugh. He asked what exactly I was sorry for. I said I was sorry he felt insecure. He stared at me like I was speaking nonsense. He asked if I heard myself. I said he was twisting my words. He said he was hearing them clearly. I tried again, sharper this time. I said if he had been more romantic, I would not feel so hungry for attention. He asked if I was blaming him for my actions. I said I was explaining context. He said context did not move money without consent. He said context did not make me lie to his face. I told myself he was exaggerating. I told myself he was trying to frame me as evil so he could feel righteous. I said he always needed to be right. He said he did not want to be right. He wanted to be safe. The next morning, I woke early and saw his phone lit up on the dresser. A reminder popped up that said, "Meeting personal 11:40. The word sat there like a locked door. He came out of the bathroom, saw me looking, and turned the screen face down without a word. Later, when the kids were doing homework, I tried to pull Ethan into another argument. I asked if he was planning to leave me. He asked why I wanted to know. I said because I deserved honesty. He said I had not been honest, and I still asked for honesty like it was owed. I went to the kitchen and opened the banking app, thinking I could prove I still had control. I tried to move a little money, just to see. The transfer option took longer to load than usual. Then it blinked and returned to the main screen. I tried again. It felt like the app was hesitating. I told myself it was a glitch. I called the bank hotline and hung up before anyone answered. My hands felt hot. I told myself Ethan did not have the right to change anything without me. Then I remembered all the times I told myself I had the right to move money without him. That evening, my friend stopped replying fast. Sloane sent a short message and said she was busy. Tessa left my last text on read. I scrolled through social media and saw them out without me, smiling in bright light. I told myself they were fake friends. I told myself I did not need them. Still, my throat felt tight. My mom called and asked if Ethan was calming down. I said he was acting cold. She said men did that when they wanted to punish women. She told me to stand my ground. I felt stronger for 5 minutes, and then I looked at the kids, and the strength turned into dread. That night, Ethan sat at the table with a mug that was not mine. My mug was across the counter, untouched. The space between them looked planned. He asked if we could keep things calm for the kids. I said calm was easy when you were the one with power. He asked what power. I said the power to judge me. He breathed out slowly. He looked at me like he had finally finished hoping. He asked if I was ready to tell the truth. I said I already told him everything that mattered. He nodded once, like he heard my answer and accepted what it meant. Then he said, in the same steady voice, that he would handle it properly. I went to the bank at opening and demanded the transfer button back. The teller asked for ID. I gave it, smiling too hard. Ethan walked in, calm, and asked the teller to wait. He put his phone on speaker. He told his lawyer he was present and wanted the account safeguards confirmed. The teller said large withdrawals were blocked by a temporary order. My card declined at the counter. A process server stepped forward and said I was served. I read divorce and temporary parenting schedule effective today. Ethan picked up the kids' folders and left without looking back.